Hello, everyone. Um, my name is Shannon. I come from Myanmar, and this year I'm 32 years old. So today I'd like to share about this 21st century breast superfood called spirulina. So ever since in the past, before I went to Singapore when I was in 22 years old, my physical health was extremely good. I was never sick, and then I never had any sickness. I didn't skip any school. I don't even know what was headaches, and I never ate any pills. And because I have a really great health, that is why my grades were really good. And that is why after I graduated, after 2 years, I wanted to go to Singapore to work. And because of my diet changes, and also I also stay up late, and also whenever I go out, I would eat something. I would just pack up from outside and eat something, and it's not really healthy. So because Singapore is also really humid, so within half a year, my health started to have some problems. So my body started to become really cold, and that is why I couldn't eat watercress or cucumbers, and I couldn't even eat cold and icy food because if I eat it, my whole body would ache, and then I would not be able to sleep. And so my body became like a weather forecast is because whenever it's almost starting to rain, my body would start aching and become really painful. And so because actually when I was younger, I really don't like consuming pills. So because I feel like I cannot swallow down, and then I'll feel that I might choke. And then like if someone tried to give me pills to eat, and then I will I will feel really uncomfortable. And that is why even like if I drink the liquid medicine, I will vomit because it tastes really bad. So that whenever I have flu or whenever I have fever, I would just drink warm water only to recover. However, at the end of 2019, that was when the pandemic exploded. And I'm sure everyone knows this. And this is why my sister told me to start consuming supplements to boost my immune system. And because everyone is really scared. And also because I was alone in another country without any family to take care of me. And that is why my parents and my sister gave me supplements to eat. And because I'm also really scared and scared of dying, that's why I work in a shopping mall. So I have to have interaction with people. And that is why I said, okay, let me try it out. So that is when I first started buying spirulina. So in the beginning, I would eat 10 tablets, and then after 2 weeks, I started to get lazy to count it. And because I needed to go to work fast as I was late. And that is why I'll just pour a cap of spirulina and eat it without counting. And then so I will eat spirulina, algae-6, Kinchin, and LD Venus, and more. So as a person who doesn't really like to eat pills, a person who really doesn't like eating drinking liquid, I started to like I really like to consume Elken spirulina. So after consuming for 4 to 5 months, because my immune system, my body, my physical health is quite strong. But then after I finished consuming 4 to 5 months, my friends around me told me that, wow, your whole complexion really looked different. They thought that I was using collagen or consuming diet supplements. So because it also helped me with with my weight loss because I really like to consume chocolate, and then I would like to eat a lot of food that has a lot of flour. And in the beginning, I was around only 40 kg. And then after 4 to 5 years, I started to be 51, 52, 53 kg. So my ratio is not really good looking. Even though my face is a little bit skinnier, but then my body is a ratio is not really health like it looks like it's not really healthy. And that is why when I started to consume spirulina, I started to become more healthier. I started to have a healthier body shape. And then suddenly one day, when I realized that, oh, it's raining outside, but my body doesn't ache anymore. And then even though if I drink watercress soup, or even if I eat or icy food, my body doesn't get cold anymore. It doesn't ache or get sore anymore. That is why I'm really, really inspired by Elken's spirulina. And then I started loving to consume spirulina, and I am also a benefiter of Elken spirulina. And also because my sister also really, really likes to consume Elken spirulina. Just now, the shares, Marcus and Jackson, is my sister's children, are my sister's children. So during mid-July, I wanted to come back to Myanmar from Singapore, because my pass in Singapore expired. And that is why when I came back to Myanmar, and then I quarantined for 2 weeks, and then I did the testing for 2 times and it was negative. So because it tested negative, and then so I started to consume, and then so I wanted to go back to bus. I want to use the transportation bus in order to go back to my hometown, and it takes quite a long time. And so other people, they didn't wear any mask, but then for me, I would wear protective gear. I would wear a coat, and then I would wear a mask, and I'll wear everything and protect myself really well. But because the cities were all quarantined and self-locked and locked, and that is why we had to walk and stop. And that is why it took around 23 hours in order for me to go back to my hometown. So I needed to self-quarantine before I can go back home. I self-quarantined in my brother's factory. And that is why my body started to, at the end of the 2 weeks of quarantine, my body started to feel really painful, and then it started to ache. And that is why I started to consume large amounts of spirulina, because at that time I didn't have any skinkin anymore. That's why I could only consume spirulina and ester C, and also gummy C, and also LG6. But after I consumed the supplements, it still hurts. So I ate one pill of Panadol and I went to sleep. But then it doesn't really help me. And then the next day I asked my brother to buy me a self-testing kit. And then so when I did a self-testing, and then I was really unlucky because I was tested positive. And that is why at that time when I video called my family, our whole family cried, because everyone in our family, my mom, all heard about the cases about the COVID. And then we knew how many people are diagnosed, but then I have never thought about it will happen to me. And that is why I was really, really heavy hearted, and I kept crying. And then after that, I ended the call and I continued to cry. But then after a while, when I calmed down, I told myself, actually, my body strength health is quite good, because ever since in Singapore for 10 plus years, I've never took a sick leave. And also furthermore, I used spirulina for almost 2 years now. I've never fallen sick either. So I'm a really strong woman. And that is why I've told myself that I can for sure fight against the this disease, this COVID. And that is why I only have some symptoms. And then I told my dad, and then I comforted them, and I told them, I'm fine. It's not a thing. You don't need to worry about me. It's okay. I'm fine. And that is why when my sister heard about it, my sister bought a lot of supplements for me. She bought LG6 and spirulina. And from that day, I would consume large amounts of spirulina in the morning, and at night I would eat one big cap of spirulina. And then LG6, I would eat six tablets. And then gummy C, I would eat 5 to 10 tablets. I'll treat it like candy. And then for alpha hex, I'll eat 2 4 soft gels to eat. And then I know that my parents cannot fall asleep, so I started to comfort them. And then I started to clean my luggage and organize my luggage. And I said to myself, I should treat this as a vacation and enjoy myself. And so the next day, and so my brother also bought a lot of stuff for me, like eating and then a lot of things, self-care stuff. So when I went to the quarantine center the next day in the morning, I saw that there's a lot of people who are diagnosed with COVID. And then there were so many people who had really severe symptoms. They had to be put on ventilators. They have really severe symptoms. However, for me, I had really a slight cough and also a slight raspiness in my throat, and also I have slight diarrhea situation going on. So at that time over there, I felt it was like I was on a vacation. I would wake up, I will eat breakfast, and then I'll put some beauty facial mask, and then I will also call my parents. And then so I never saw myself as a patient. And then because my parents can see that I can actually start eating, and then I can start talking to them, and then they start to get less worried, although they are still very worried. So after 7 days, after the 14 days of quarantine, a lot of people will still get really severe symptoms even after the quarantine. But then because I want to say that when I was younger, my exercise, because I started to exercise, I've never exercised before in my past life. But then because my sister told me that, oh, exercise could be a really good help if you're infected with COVID. And that is why I started to exercise and started to learn how to exercise more. So I think that this is really a good benefit from getting diagnosed with COVID, because I started to gain this habit of exercising for 20 to 30 minutes every day. And then so that was one good habit that I have developed. So at that time, during the vaccination, during the mid-July, Singapore, they gave me an option to take a vaccination. And then, but then the second vaccination is when I need to come back to Myanmar. And so when I thought that, if I have to take different vaccinations, it's not good. And that's why I didn't take any vaccination at all. And so on the third day, when the doctor had to give me a swab test, and then I was actually really scared, really nervous. And then, but then the result was negative. So I was really surprised, because it was such a miraculous thing that my result actually came from positive to negative. So because actually a lot of people, even though they were quarantined, even after 14 days, it's really hard for them to change their results from positive to negative. But then for me, it only took 3 days. I was super happy. And so the doctor told me, oh, are you someone who really take care of your health, because your immune system is actually really good? And I said, oh, did you actually do exercises regularly? And I said, no, actually, when I was younger, I really hate doing exercising. But then because of this, I started to learn do more exercises. So, but then even though I still have a slight diarrhea symptom, and that is why after 7 days, I have no symptoms at all. And so my whole body, my raspiness also didn't wasn't there anymore. And then my parents and my sisters and my brothers were all really, really happy. And they kept on, they made sure and ensure that I have enough rest and enough diet, a good dietary supplements. And that is why I'm really, really grateful for my parents for supporting me through this journey. And that is why I'm really, really happy to have my family next to me, not literally, but supporting me. And because in the past I was always working, and that is why I don't spend as much time with my parents. And furthermore, because I work and then I will work every week, and only in each week I will only have one rest day, and that's why my health condition was not as good as I wanted it to be. So I think my health condition now is even better than my health condition before. So I'm really, really grateful for Elken's spirulina and Elken's products and LG steaks so that it can help me have a really, really good immune system. And so now I also really want to tell everyone that because it's really hard for us to have a balanced nutrition because we have to eat a lot of different types of food every day, and that's why it might not attain the nutrition that we want. And because the pandemic hasn't finished yet, and so we aren't able to interact with other people as close as before, and there is still a chance that you might get diagnosed. And because during the 23 hours, I never drank a sip of water and I kept wearing my mask, but I was still diagnosed. So it's really, really hard to say that if someone is unfortunate like me, it's best if there's no such situations, but it's best to have some protection, as this is a responsibility for yourself and a responsibility for your parents and family. And I'm really, really grateful for my sister um, for um, for giving for introducing me to Elkin's spirulina. So thank you everyone.